If you see these little green things all around here, they have like a little cluster of 3 points on 3 little leaves. Those are pinks, Indian pinks. And they have a soft little pink blossom much later on in the year. But what I'd like you to notice, you notice all the white oak leaves that are here on the ground? It takes about 5 years for these to be completely deciduous, and that's what feeds a lot of the wildflowers that we'll see here. Now some people, like where I grew up, we call them bird bills. Here they call them shooting stars. You see this little one here? It's a kind of a dark green. If you look really close, you can see right in the center of it, that little knob. That'll grow up about this tall with kind of a purple color stem, kind of a mahogany color stem with a purple flower on the end of it. If you look at this little yellow flower here, that's a western buttercup, and you'll see those all along the woodlands. They're one of the first flowers to bloom in the spring.
Oh, it's so tiny in comparison with everything around it. It's so beautiful.
There's a couple different kinds of oak trees here in the Jacksonville Woodlands. This one is a black oak. And the way that you can tell the difference is, some people can tell by the bark, but I can tell by the shape of the leaves. The black oak has little points on the end of the leaves, and a white oak has rounded leaves.
I need to remember this. I'm still trying to figure out what kind grandmas are. Okay, so this is black oak because it has little points.
Right, and over here is a white oak leaf.
Okay, so...
Do you see the... Emmy, stop. Do you see the difference?
I do. So the white oak is on my left. Okay.
And the black oak is the one that has the more pointed leaves.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Do you see those interesting sticks that are standing up? Every few years, they'll come in and eradicate that because that's poison oak. Most of us don't think about poison oak until you see those red, shiny leaves on it. But you can get poison oak just as badly from walking through this.
Really? Like right now, if I walked over there, I'd have poison oak?
You could get little blisters all over you.
Oh my God.
Like crazy, yeah.
Keep Emmy close to you.
Exactly. Another reason to keep your dog on the leash and to keep yourself on the trail. And some of their best friends is our Gentner fritillaria, which is like our favorite flower. But if you go crawling out there in the woods to get your best picture, you might be sorry.
Are they mutual friends?
They seem to be. Yeah, they seem to be mutual friends.
Oh, that's funny. This is a madrone, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this is a madrone.
Well, I don't really know much about the madrone except, or I thought it was madrona, I'm not sure which it is, but we had one on our property when I grew up in Brookings, and it's just so fascinating because it has this red bark. It's like the bark peels away. I'll do a close-up of it. It's like the bark peels away and there's this red shiny stuff left. Right. And then along the coast there's a lot of little galleries and stuff where they make, it's beautiful wood, so they make, you know, bowls and sculptures and stuff like that out of the madrone wood.
Yeah, I love how it gets all gnarly and twirls. And if you look at this one really close, I know I'm not supposed to be out here, but see the little holes here?
Hold on, let me do it close up.
You see those holes? You know the woodpecker's been here. They do these routine little rows of holes. And the kids, if you take kids on a field trip, they call them refrigerator trees because in the middle of summer when it's really hot here, you can just go up and hug a madrone tree and it's nice and cold like a refrigerator. Also, if you walk through the center of them, one that has a split trunk like that, if you make a wish, your wish is supposed to come true.
Ah! Look what good little pet owners we are. Our dog is on a leash. Emmy! It's a good little hiking dog. Although I really should never use that voice.
You see the little western buttercup in front of the oak tree? And look at the bark on the oak tree, how pretty that is. It's got moss growing on it. This little bark is kind of lifting off like little dancing skirts.
I like simple things like the moss on this. I don't know if I should call it simple, but I just love the textures and stuff of, oh, I wish this would focus. There it goes. I love the textures of the moss and stuff like that in nature.
There's this fun little story about the lichen. You know,
that's what I was calling moss.
No, that's lichen.
What's the difference? What does lichen mean?
This one here is moss, but that's lichen. And see how there's different kinds of lichen?
Mm-hmm.
And I should be able to tell you the difference, but I can't. That one looks kind of like a little animal horn.
Yeah.
Where this is wispier. And there's a couple ladies that live, I think, in Portland that actually are lichen experts. They're biologists.
I want that on my resume.
Yes. And they go around to different communities, and depending on what the lichen and the moss, the colors of them are, they can tell whether or not your air is polluted in your community.
The lichen tell you?
Yes, it can tell you. Yeah. Do you see this one here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember its name, but it sure is pretty.
You're such a brat. Yeah.
Okay, so Cammy is now looking at the Oregon grape, those plants that look like holly bushes, and that is the Oregon state plant. They'll get bigger and bushier, and they have a bright green as they get a little more mature. And then they'll get this cluster of berries that'll turn bright yellow. So the early pioneers in the area used that to make preserves, jam. But today, we recommend that people not try that. It's pretty bitter and nasty. I think they were pretty desperate. Okay, so where we are right now is at a trailhead, and we're still on the Rich Gulch Trail. If you look over to your left, this is where the Rich Gulch Canyon Trail comes through. It's a lot more isolated, beautiful trail, and it'll start at the same place where we started, and it loops out and ends up here. If you stay straight, you'll still be on Rich Gulch, and it'll take you out to Panoramic Point. It's a beautiful view shed of Mount McLaughlin and Grizzly Peak. And if you start meandering off to the right, you'll notice some numbered posts, and each one of those numbers will give you in a brochure what you might see there as far as the history or the plants that are around. But that'll take you down to the Sarah Ziegler Trail that runs along the creek. And the benches that you see here, they're a little controversial. Some people think there shouldn't be anything out in the woods because it is 99% all natural. But other people have donated money that maybe aren't as good a hikers and need a place to just rest now and then. So these particular ones came from Bob and Ruth Root from the money that they left for the Woodlands.
This is one of the trail numbers that match the maps.
In the map, it has a little story about either the history or what you might be looking at when you're here. And then this trail that goes to the right is the Jackson Fork Trail that'll connect down to the Sarah Ziegler Trail and take you back to the Brick Gardens. And if you look across the way, keep going to your left. Oh, that's your right, isn't it? Yes. Over there. You see the mountains over there? On the kind of left side of those mountains is where Forest Park is. And just getting your bearings all the way over to the right, there's another trail system that's just this side of the Jacksonville Cemetery.
Gosh, there are a lot of trails in this area. I had no idea. When I used to come visit Grandma for Christmas and stuff, I'd always go walk on the Sarah Ziegler trail, but that's the only one I knew about.
Yeah, they all connect.
This is how Jeanena, this is what I typically see when we're hiking.
That'd be true.
I like the pictures of just the way it looks when the trail's just kind of meandering through the trees.
This is the Canyon Trail.
It's a what trail?
The Canyon Trail.
Canyon Trail.
It goes from the parking lot and loops around and reconnects on the Rich Gulch Trail. And then if you look at the manzanita right here, it has the woodpecker holes that look like they've healed over.
How come they're so low? I guess I always think woodpeckers are up high in the tree.
Ooh, and this is nice and cold.
Yeah. Is it?
If you touch the bark, like this one's obviously dying, but where the strip is, where the bark still is, it's nice and cold. You should put your hand on it. Go ahead and put your hand on it. You feel it?
Oh, that's weird.
Isn't that amazing?
Whoops. See if I can.
So you've experienced a refrigerator tree.
It's a refrigerator tree. That is so weird.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're out walking when it's summertime, just go hug a tree.